mentioned, and the number increased to about 2,000. Now we are told that 2,337 ECG containers have been retrieved. 2 weeks ago, we were asking the Minister of Energy to give us updates on this. Now the updates is here. I'll give you the breakdown as we go along later. Now, Ghanaian nurse wins $250,000 global award. I watched a video on social media when she was announced the winner, and the emotion, and she's putting a lot of hard work. I'll tell you more about her and the work she's doing to make us better. Now, if you go to the back page of the Daily Graphic, cement manufacturers failed to meet price declaration deadline. You know, people are calling for a reduction in cement prices because of the gains in the city. Now, manufacturers have failed to meet the price declaration deadline. Why? We'll share that with you as well. And compel drivers to comply with 15% reduction in fares. This is CATS International, the consumer protection advocates. They are asking us that we should, they are telling the government and other related organizations to compel drivers to comply with 15% reduction in fares. Winston.
Now, the Ghanaian Times for this morning says, flood mitigation in Greater Accra region, more houses to go down. Rexec, NADMO, MMDCE's lead operations. Ghana returns to bond market soon. President and Gbese Stu dismisses alleged bestowment of Kojo Ashong Queen mother. And Sambu goes solemn as Mion Lana's final funeral rites begin. But there's a story. I'm just trying to get the the page. I'll quickly check it. Talks about, NADMO GHEL join forces to tackle drainage crisis. And it says the National Disaster Management Organization is partnering with Ghana Heavy Equipment Limited to launch a coordinated nationwide campaign, drainage recovery campaign.
Okay.
We'll give you the details.
Okay.
We'll give you that's on page 8. Back page says Get Fund project stalled. Deepening woes of UTAS. Okay, so that's the University of Technology and Applied Sciences at Navrongo in the Upper East region. Some of these projects have stalled for 10 years.
Wow.
Affecting academic work. Also at the back page, Anglo Gold Ashanti donates 1.8 million soap factory to Dochiwa community, and that's also here. It means we can get into the online news review.
Let me start with my Joe Online. The CJ is here, the suspended CJ. The headline says, treated worse than a traitor, suspended CJ alleges psychological torture, mockery of justice in impeachment battle. Now, more stories on my Joe Online. Only you can stop this assault on judicial independence. CJ begs Supreme Court to halt impeachment process. Parliament returns from Easter recess today. They want to break me. Suspended CJ paints picture of abuse in Osu Castle hearings, and there's a document we'll share with you on the show this morning. Now, more stories. Build the buffers now. Minority MP warns against complacency amid CD stability. Passengers are bleeding while fuel prices drop. CATS International demands sanctions for non-compliant drivers. And Finance Committee to summon Minister over Economic Gains and Building Stronger Buffer. This is the FIA MP speaking. Fuel could also sell at 12 cedis by Thursday. OMC boss pins hope on CD stability. It means fuel will be getting cheaper, and possibly transport fares would have to drop again, and the confusion will continue. Now, Afina Jan Opoku Samed among 6 returning to Black Stars for Unity Cup. We'll be getting more updates when the sports guys join us. And I'll take you to the City Newsroom website for some stories there as well. Removal proceedings are a mockery of justice. Justice Tokono speaking. No fair cuts for Uber, Bolt, Yango users. Online Drivers Union. Why?
They must also reduce their fares.
Yeah, because they also...
Why? Would they also buy fuel?
Yes.
And they also use the increment in fuel prices to increase fares.
And they also use the forex somehow.
Exactly. No, but it's the same principle. It's the same principle.
Oh, Uber, Bolt, Yango. Why? Online Drivers Union. Anyway.
No. The Online Drivers Union must appreciate something. Mm-hmm. You cannot be increasing fares when fuel prices increase, and then turn around and tell us you're not going to reduce fares. No.
We need to call their president.
Exactly.
We need to engage them. And which ministry supervises them? Transport Ministry?
Yes.
Ministry of Communications?
Transport.
transport, the ministry should also get us some further and better particulars about this. We need fairness in pricing for all Ghanaians. Now, Chairman want me to report to CID again today. Trade in cities to sustain currency gains, BOG to businesses. Parliament is reconvening after the Easter recess, and 10% US tariff gives Ghana competitive trade edge. This is the outgoing US Ambassador Palmer. She also says that improved business climate will boost US investments in Ghana. Now, to the BNFT online, BOG dismisses export fears as cedi rallies. You know, there are a lot of people who are saying that exporters are going to lose because the cedi is appreciating against the dollar.
How are they going to lose?
Because when the cedi depreciates, you get more money when you export.
More money to do what?
When the cedi is at 20 cedis to $1, for example, and you export, you get more cedis.
And then you buy what?
That's
so that's actually the issue. I mean, then you buy what with it? You come back and go through.
Yes, the same motion, right?
Oh.
Yes. Now, maintaining fiscal discipline remains top priority. We'll be sharing the president's 8-point agenda to reset and reconsolidate our economy. Goods sector welcomes extension of licensing deadline, and PRC convenes emergency stakeholder meeting over recent electricity challenges. And we must set baseline to track energy transition progress. This is Dr. Mantel urging all of us.
Okay, which means we can get into the details, right?
Yes. I'll start with the center spread of the daily graphic. The president has been speaking, and he's unveiled the economic sustainability plans. This was done at the CEO summit yesterday. Kester Abraham Crancher writes for the daily graphic that President John Dramani Mahama has outlined a comprehensive strategy to sustain the recovery of the economy, focusing on fiscal discipline, private sector collaboration, and innovative financing. Speaking at the 2025 Ghana CEO Summit in Accra yesterday, the president emphasized the need to learn from past mistakes while charting a sustainable path forward. The summit, which was on the theme Leading Ghana's Economic Reset, Transforming Business and Governance for a Sustainable Futuristic Economy, brought together government officials including the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Minister of Labour, Senior Economic Advisor to the President, that is Mr. Seth Imanotepe, and other captains of business and industry. Now, the President highlighted the economic achievements of his previous administration between 2013 and 2016, including the introduction of medium-term bonds, a sinking fund for debt repayment, and responsible Eurobond issuances. He, however, said that subsequent mismanagement had led to the country's first ever debt default, which the president said had eroded investor confidence and shrunk the private sector. To help sustain a resilient economy, the president detailed an 8-point plan to restore economic stability and growth. Earlier, Winston tried to take us through the 8-point plan, and he said a lot about how he's going to approach the recovery in this 8-point plan. We'll be giving you more details on that, Winston.
Yeah, we will. It's doable. You know, currently there seems to be some confidence within the Ghanaian economy. And so, yes, getting back to a domestic bond, that should be the first port of call. If we do well, then we could think of going international or going external. The thing about a domestic capital market, one of the things, you know, even yesterday while we're having a conversation about, you know, growing from a Ghanaian business into a multinational, one of the things that we were talking about was how to raise capital. Now, what we have realized, for instance, and this is something that government can actually do, government should, we should have a domestic capital market. And we have too much funds in this country. We have billions of dollars in pension funds being used to buy treasury bills. And sometimes building houses.
You know, 2 weeks ago, the CEO of Axis Pension, Mr. Free, said that the pension industry needs to look at how to invest in the economy properly. We need to put money in the real sector to drive growth.
So you see, one of the first things we should do, now that the president is talking about bringing back the road tolls and the fact that vehicles are linked to Ghana cards, and so it'll be easy to once you use it, the bill, you send you the money and then you pay. Look, this is it. We must use pension funds to build our road infrastructure if we want to.
And told them.
Why do you think that somebody should pay 1 cedi for using the motorway?
Yeah.
Why? if you can charge him you do the analysis. How many vehicles are going to use the motorway in a day? How much do you need to make your money?
Yeah.
Toll it. So if you expect that a road would last, say, 25 years and you want to get your money back in, say, 10, 15 years, look at it. We would all agree how much we want to toll it. If you want to dualize Accra Kumasi, pension funds are a regular source of income.
Yeah.
We can actually use that. We construct the motorway, then we would construct, and see, part of the funds that SNIT will be generating could be used in actually helping. And it's not only SNIT, even all the tier 3 pension schemes and tier 2 pension schemes would all come together. They would get their money back. In fact, it is a better form of investment than going to put your money in Government of Ghana treasury bills at 15% or 14%, 91 day. So I don't understand why we are continuously crying. And, Dr. Sedo did a presentation some time ago, which he shared with me, and I totally agreed with him. We have too much idle funds in this country, being used to support government recurrent expenditure, when we could use that to support capital expenditure.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, we'll come
so these are the things the president says he'll do: completing the IMF program with discipline, reopening capital markets, strengthening sovereign funds and local financing, clearing arrears and rationalizing public investments, accelerating public financial management reforms, revitalizing exports through the Ghana Exim Bank, positioning Ghana as a regional trade hub, and resuming infrastructure development. Other stories, Winston.
More houses to go down in the Greater Accra region as RECSEC NADMO MMDC's lead operation. So that's a story on page 12, the center spread. And it says that, look, more illegal structures on waterways are to be pulled down starting today as part of flood mitigating measures in the national capital. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Obiniwa Akweli Oklu's warned. And the exercise being led by the regional minister together with NADMO, Greater Accra Regional Security Council, and the MMDCEs is to help deal with the deteriorating flooding conditions. And she disclosed this at her maiden meeting with all newly confirmed and sworn-in MMDCEs in Accra yesterday. And it said the issue of flooding continues to affect lives and property. Ghana returns to the bond market soon. You've talked about that already.
Yeah.
But one on page 8 that we are interested in says that NADMO GHEL joined forces to tackle drainage crisis. So the National Disaster Management Organization is partnering with Ghana Heavy Equipment Limited to launch a coordinated nationwide drainage recovery campaign.
Okay.
Now, this collaboration, which according to NADMO was a strategic move to confront worsening drainage and flooding crisis, was sealed during a high-level engagement between the CEO of GHEL, Mutalib Awal, and the Director General of NADMO, Major retired Dr. Joseph Bikanyin Kuong, in Accra on Thursday. And according to Major Kuong, Ghana's flood disasters were no longer seasonal inconveniences but existential threats to infrastructure, livelihood, and public health. And he stressed the urgency of the situation, noting that inadequate drainage systems and poor maintenance continue to expose millions of Ghanaians. So this is a quote attributed to him. "We're not here to issue another warning. We're here to act. The collaboration between NADMO and GHEL is about mobilizing machinery, expertise, and national effort to break the back of Ghana's drainage failure for once and for all."
Are we not duplicating efforts too much?
Tell me.
We have the District Road Improvement Program, right? Now, DRIP is not a new program. It's something that has been happening. It was just rebranded as DRIP recently. So we've bought machines for every district in this country. So from graders to bulldozers to excavators to payloaders to all sorts of earth moving machines for assemblies. We have a DRIP secretariat. Now, if NADMO wants to work, would it not be great for NADMO to work with DRIP and use those machines we spend the taxpayers' money to buy to do this work? You remember last week we spoke to the KMA boss and we asked about DRIP equipment, and he said he doesn't have the complement of the equipment he needs to work. So all those machines that were displayed to us and distributed to the assemblies, where are the machines now? Those DRIP machines.
Oh, I mean, I saw some of them in the Ghana East. I saw the day that they were taking to the Ghanaian Municipal Assembly. I saw them.
Oh, we have a DRIP now. We have to do a flood mitigation improvement program, FMIP, and spend extra money.
Have you read Building the Nation before?
No, please.
There's a poem known as Building the Nation.
I've not read it before.
I'll read it to you.
If this is to convince me that we need to buy new equipment for flood mitigation, I won't read it.
It is to explain to you the problem we have in this country. The fact that in this country, all we think about, sadly, is procurement. And all we think about is how to enrich oneself.
We need to use the whole of government approach, really, Winston. You have a 48 engineers regiment, you have the Ghana Highway Authority, you have feeder roads, right? Drainage and all these things. You have hydrological services. You have a drip program with equipment. Let's put all these together. Let's have a coordinated effort to desilt our drains, construct drains where necessary, and prevent flooding. Why do we always want to add on when the ones we have are not being utilized? Or the ones we are supposed to have, they don't exist? The drip machines, they no longer exist in our system?
See, let me read this quickly for you. You'll understand the problems we find ourselves in. This is Building the Nation by Henry Barlow. It says, today I did my share in building the nation. I drove a permanent secretary to an important urgent function. The menu reflected its importance: cold bell beer with small talk, then fried chicken with the niceties, wine to fill the hollowness of the laugh, ice cream to cover the stereotype jokes, coffee to keep the peers awake. On the return journey, I drove the permanent secretary back. He yawned many times in the back of the car. Then, to keep awake, he suddenly asked, did you have any lunch, my friend? I replied, looking straight ahead and secretly smiling at his belated concern, that I had not, but was slimming. Upon which he said with seriousness, that amused more than annoyed me. Me too, I had none. Listen to him, the man that had all of that. And he said, I attended to matters of state, highly delicate diplomatic duties, you know. And friend, it goes against my grain, causes me stomach ulcers and wine and wind. He continued yawning again. The pains we suffer in building the nation. So the PS had ulcers too. My ulcers, I think, are equally painful, only they are caused by hunger, not sumptuous lunch. Now, it is the pretense, the hypocrisy. We pretend to do lots of things, but underneath those is all parochial interest.
Let me bring you our final story before we go. I'm treated worse than a traitor. Suspended CJ alleges psychological torture. That story is on my Joe Online. All the angles to do with the latest from the CJ suspension and the hearing is on my Joe Online. Check them out. And later on the show, we'll read something that somebody has written about how we are basically mismanaging all the arms of government and bringing them into disrepute, and how as a nation we must pay attention to that and bring honor to governance. We'll share that with you.
Okay.